In Activity 12, Rhythm Band, students construct a variety of musical instruments. Students first vary the volume and the pitch of the sounds their instruments and their voices make. Students then accompany a simple recorded melody using their constructed musical instruments. You will need the following materials from the kit. Activity Sheet 12, Parts A and B. Sounds Audio CD. Musical Instrument Recipe Cards. Tongue depressors. And xylophone. You will also need to provide CD player. To prepare for Session 1, make a copy of Activity Sheet 12, Parts A and B for each student. Have the musical instrument recipe cards on hand for a classroom demonstration. Listen to Mary Had a Little Lamb in Section 3 of the Sound CD and practice playing the melody on the xylophone. Identify materials in your classroom that might be used to make instruments. To begin Session 1, give each student a copy of Activity Sheet 12, Part A, and ask, what are 3 types of musical instruments? The students should recall percussion, stringed, and wind instruments. Give the students 5 minutes to list all of the musical instruments they can think of that belong under each of those headings on their activity sheet. Next, play Mary Had a Little Lamb and tell the students they will create instruments to play along with the melody. Display the materials in the kit and ask students, what kinds of instruments can you make with these materials and any other materials in the classroom you can think of? They should suggest the various instruments they have already made in this module, plus new ideas for using other classroom materials. Display the musical instrument recipe cards and allow the students to look at them for additional ideas. They may make instruments from the cards or use their own ideas. Explain that they should not bring ready-made instruments to school, only the materials they need to make their own. To make their instruments, tell the students that they may choose to work alone or in teams of 2. Give each student a copy of Activity Sheet 12, Part B. Instruct the students to answer the questions on the activity sheet, listing all of the materials they will need, which of these materials are available at school, and which they will have to bring from home. To prepare for Session 2, each student will need his or her copies of Activity Sheet 12, Parts A and B. To begin Session 2, have the students retrieve any materials they have brought from home, provide them with any materials from the kit or the classroom that they may need, and give them ample time to construct their instruments. Encourage them to test their completed instruments. Have the students complete their activity sheets by naming their instruments and drawing pictures of them. Ask, how can you change the volume of the sound produced by your instrument? The students should remember that they can change the volume by changing the force with which they strike it, pluck or bow its strings, or blow into it or across a hole in it. Challenge each student to make loud and soft sounds. Then ask, how can you change the pitch of the sound made by your instrument? The students should demonstrate that they can vary the thickness, length, or tension of the materials in their instruments. Next, play the note E on the xylophone. Have each student in turn attempt to reproduce this sound on his or her instrument. If possible, suggest how they can lower or raise the pitch, and then have them try the note again. Repeat this step with each note in the song, Mary Had a Little Lamb. Now, have the students hum or sing the song and note how they are able to make sounds of different pitch with their voices. Have the students attempt to play along with the entire song while you play the xylophone. Encourage a class discussion by asking, what was difficult about playing your instrument? And how could you improve your instrument? As an option, challenge the students to play along with other songs. To conclude Session 2, have students return any reusable classroom materials or tools to their storage places and discard any scraps of paper or other unusable materials. Ask them to return any borrowed materials to their owners. Have students return all kit materials to the kit. For science background, reinforcement activities, curriculum connections, and information about the Delta Science Reader, please consult your DSM Teacher's Guide.